so much for having us here. My name is Becky Dawson and I am Interim Head of Service for HeadStart Newham. So we've come all the way from London to see you today and we're really grateful for you having us here. So I thought I would start by giving you a little bit of context for Newham and how we are working. We're really excited to be in Blackpool, which does such amazing work with its resilience revolution. And we're really proud to be linked in any way with it. So being part of the HeadStart family is fantastic. The theme for today, throughout our presentation, is belonging. And I wanted to do that warm up in that sense of looking at there are different ways that we can feel that we belong and we can feel that we are part or have connection with those people around us. And I wanted to talk about how important it is for us as human beings to have that sense of belonging. We work really closely around the resilience framework, which some people in the room may be aware of. I think Angie is probably very aware of. And everything that we do at HeadStart Newham is based on the resilience framework, and I know that Blackpool have a fantastic version as well, co-produced by young people. And all of our interventions are based on the resilience framework, and everything we do really is underpinned by that, particularly our whole school work. And so we really wanted to focus on that second column of belonging today and thinking about how important that is for our young people to explore and to understand their sense of belonging in order to then build on that, reach their potential. So very quickly, let you know what we do in Newham. We've got lots of different interventions. We have mentoring, we have team social action, which Kanye will tell you about in a bit. We have our youth panel. We also have a HeadStart Champions, which our lovely ladies will tell you about. And Bounce Back, which is a behaviour change and self-reflection intervention. All of those things we feel give a sense of belonging to young people within their school community, but also outside of that community as well. And we really focus on how that can work for them. So I wanted to give you a sense of the context. This is the data from Public Health England last year, 2018, and these are the things where Newham's young people are in the top percentage of having to deal with in Newham. So there's lots of different things, so children under 16 in poverty, free school meals, children with special educational needs, unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. So we know that lots of our young people in Newham are having to deal with challenges on a daily basis that are testing their resilience. And so the work that we are doing in Newham is to develop that sense of belonging through the work that we are doing, and I hope the presentations will show you that that is the case, because we know that particularly in schools and with our whole school approach, if we don't support our young people, then if we're expecting them to go into class and to be able to focus, it's just not going to happen. And that's one of my sort of favourite little images that I use when I do training with teachers around the academic resilience approach. If we don't understand that young people that we are working with often have a huge amount of baggage that they are dealing with, we're not going to have them in a position where they are able to learn and to make the most of what their opportunities are in front of them. And I had a chat with the young people today while we were having our lunch, and I talked about fitting in and belonging and what that means in Newham. And we talked about the fact that unfortunately Newham is known sometimes for the negatives, for the knife crime or for gang activity, and actually for a young person fitting in, feeling like they can belong in a place like Newham can be a real challenge for them. And in fact, I think it was Mariana that said, I didn't pay her to say this, that she said before she'd worked with HeadStart or had any of that resilience work, it was a struggle to feel like you belong, but being part of the group and having that sense of belonging through HeadStart has developed that, and I know that will be the case for HeadStart Blackpool as well, and for anyone working with young people, you can give them that sense of belonging with the focus that you are able, and the time you are able to give them.
So, as Becky sort of touched upon there, implementing youth-driven social change is one of our big priorities as a service, with team social action being one of our core practitioner-led interventions. Ordinarily, 12 to 15 young people will work together to identify, design and implement any social action project that hopes to create positive change in their community. However, in April 2019, we committed to a borough-wide youth-led social action campaign involving 12 of our HeadStart secondary schools. Where possible, we do try and keep things pretty simple, using the plan, do, review structure. That helps us just refine our interventions and our other programmes and ensure that we're keeping young people's voice and the ARA framework at the core of our work. The essential question for all of our groups then this summer was, what are our young people saying about what Newham has to offer to support their wellbeing and mental health? So this investigation also invited the young people to identify what's missing and speak to the people who they need to really about creating that change and making a difference. But we started to think about our key stakeholders. So that would be for us, the CCG, so the Clinical Commissioning Group, schools and the council. And the main thing that they actually all had in common was a real desire to know who is doing what where for young people's mental health and well-being, and also an interest in how young people are perceiving the support they're getting and how it feels for them to be able to access that and use the platforms that are available. There was a clear need then to map the assets and the gaps of what was going on in the borough. Working with 12 different secondary schools, who are all at very different places and have very unique contexts, allowed us to initiate a meaningful and eye-opening discussion with our young people about what mental health and wellbeing support really means to them. The sense of belonging was a massive thing as we went through this journey with this version of Team Social Action. There was a real strength in the schools all recognising that they were a part of something much bigger. And again, in that red box, we had a sort of support, stretch and challenge approach where the schools were given some guidance on how they can meet the bare minimum, then go a little further and then really excel and hold the young people as much as possible. So a little challenge for the schools, I guess. The project managers, they were absolutely instrumental to the success of Team Social Action this summer, and Kanye is one of them. He was in my group at Little Ilford. They met at several points and came together to do lots of different activities, sharing that intel and discussing those headlines that were coming out. And we got into some really sort of intense and meaty discussions because of what they were bringing back from their groups.
Hello, if you didn't get my name is Kanye, and I'm here today to talk about my experience as a project manager representing Little Ilford School, a secondary school in East London. What was the best thing about being a project manager? Well, for me, it would probably be the project manager meetings for many reasons. I made lots of new friends from other schools. I was made aware of issues surrounding the young people in our area, and I got 3 cups of tea. But most importantly, I felt very welcomed. I felt comfortable despite being in a room full of new faces, and I felt as though I was doing something good for the community.
It was all about the how with the project managers meetings, upskilling the young people, finding out their areas of interest, what sparked them to take part in the first place, and then upskilling them. Several groups then went out into the community to visit providers before adding to their information.
So, for our deep dive, we went to Little Ilford School's Summer Fete and asked several people survey questions, including the MP, Stephen Timms. I was nervous to talk to Stephen Timms because he's 6'7" in real life, but he seemed to really care about what we were talking about. Through questioning the people at the Summer Fete and examining the results, we concluded that the young people in the community didn't know of the facilities created for them in their area. The 3 main ones people seemed to know the least of were safe places to hang out, facilities for sexual health advice, and facilities for mental health. With the information we had just gathered, we decided that our project should be a display of pockets containing leaflets of safe places to hang out, facilities for mental health, and facilities for sexual health advice.
So we loved every minute of the Team Social Action project. Perhaps he wouldn't have said that during it in some of the more stressful times, but it was a real honour and privilege to see young people engaging with Stephen Timms, MP, and having conversations with some of those key people in Newham and actually saying, this is what we want, this is what's important to us. And those having safe spaces is a recurring theme for our young people in Newham, something that they feel is lacking and they want to work harder to achieve. And it was brilliant to see young people like Kanye really pushing themselves in their role as project managers.
So, on your tables, you have different coloured buncheons. What we'd like you to do is think about the key relationships that you spoke about and the key factors that you might need in those relationships that make it work. So what makes those relationships work? So as a table, have a discussion and decide. Make your own positive relationship shape.
We need another purple one.
Not enough respect in this relationship.
You can't have two dodgy arms.
No, because you can make his body really big. You can be like plump.
Hi everyone, I'm a HeadStart champion at Royal Docks Academy in Newham. I joined Champions in February 2019. We looked closely at life in school. We thought about all our school does to help us with our resilience and areas we would work with them to improve.
Delivering conferences on the day was a bit nerve-wracking, I would say personally to myself, because you never know what to expect. So after the conference, we shared what we learnt with our head teacher and our senior leadership. We asked if we could work with the year 11s to assist them with exam stress. And I can safely say that becoming a champion definitely changed me for the better.
I helped plan and facilitate two conferences last year. The theme of the first conference was exam stress. This was relevant to me because the year before I did my GCSEs. As a group, we had the task of planning an engaging session about how to deal with exam stress that was also informative, so that the champions can take this information back to their schools. The second conference was about feeling belonging and positive relationships. I took part in planning and delivering an interactive wellbeing session to primary school children about how to make everyone feel like they belong. The first conference session seemed really terrifying, but now I've done it twice, I feel like my confidence has grown a bit. Being a part of planning and delivering the sessions not only grew my confidence a bit, but also made me feel like I belonged.
So thank you once again, and if you have any questions, we shall mingle and you can ask them. And you can keep the bunches, you can fight over them.